There we go. So the first result of the night, Jennifer Connelly is the Best Supporting Actress this year's Academy Awards. Was surprised?
No, I thought she was going to win. You know, I think A Beautiful Mind's had so much kind of hype and push, and she's very good in it. And also she's won everything else. So as I said earlier, I think voters are lazy.
She got the BAFTA, the Golden Globe, several other major awards, which are all kind of indicators of where she's heading.
Yeah. But I don't understand this thing why she got the BAFTA before the film came out in Britain. What's that about?
I think it's clever marketing.
Very clever. Invisible Man.
Do you think
marketing.
she was surprised to come off stage and find a small mime artist dressed in red running around for no apparent reason?
And why were it's like Glenn Close and Donald Sutherland are in an Oscar shop. Behind them is all these, they're selling Oscars.
It's just that they probably couldn't get in the audience, so therefore they said, well, we'll give you a desk and you can earn your keep.
And maybe they're doing a radio broadcast to the world as well.
Very, very strange.
That was weird, isn't it?
There've been a few surprises already this evening, of course, because Tom Cruise, everyone said, will be a no-show this year.
Yeah.
And yet he kicked the whole ceremony off.
I know, that's because he's going to be the President of the United States.
And then, of course, a very odd appearance by Gorbachev.
That was weird. That Gap ad they had at the start of the Oscars with their former President Gorbachev in it. That was good, though. I like that.
It's exciting, though. I'm really feeling the excitement now. Of the
I
show
am,
itself.
too. I'm pulsing. And I just wished it was more... I kind of think this award is a good indicator of how they're going to go, and I think they're going to be kind of predictable.
Yep, quite safe. We mustn't say that, though, because we want people to stay with us for the next 18 hours. And if they think it's predictable, then they will get up and wander. Although I am going to suggest people get up and stretch their legs to avoid the deep vein thrombosis that normally sets in during ceremonies of this thing.
I think you should do that.
Okay, you're off now. You're going to leave us now for the evening. We thank you so much for being here.
It's been a pleasure, Jonathan.
Let me ask you, where are you going to, though? Which party are you going to?
I'm going to the Vanity Fair dinner.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to the Elton John to hear Elton singing later.
Okay. Am I right in thinking that you're going both those not because you really want to go to the party, but because you know there'll be goodie bags to take home from both of them?
I am total goodie bag whore. I'm actually in my hotel room. I'm going to have to ship things back to New York because I get so many goodie bags.
Because the Elton one's meant to be worth like $1,000 or something.
Is it?
Yeah, apparently so.
See, eBay. But it's a terrible thing. You earn more money than you've ever earned before, and people give you more free things than you've ever been given before.
Alan, is there sort of networking going on tonight, or is it really just about the awards? Are people relaxed, or do they try and score points and get to know people and maybe lay groundwork for the future?
Oh, there's a lot of networking. I like a party, but the other night I was at this party and my agent was there, and she was taking an actress, and she's actually said it's time to go around the room, and they actually walk around and you see them going, how do you do, how do you do, how do you do. I was at the bar. Yeah. She didn't try that one with me.
That's what I like to hear. Alan, it's been a pleasure spending some time in your company this evening. Thank you so much for joining us.
Not at all, it's been great.
I'll let you get on with your wonderful party while we sit back and enjoy the rest of the show.
All right, good luck.
Okay, thanks, Alan. Here we go. We're going to go back now and join the 74th Annual Academy Awards live from Hollywood. Enjoy. Well, Trinny has rejoined us, and I'm delighted to say that also here now is a man with an Oscar nomination for Best Actor to his distinguished name, Mr. Tom Conti. Tom, thank you very much indeed.
Very nice to be here, thank you.
Thank you for joining us. What do you make of the show so far?
Oh, terribly enjoyable. I think the jokes are marvellous and music's good, yes. Okay. No, it's good fun. You should know that this window is open behind us. We could all leap out.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, if the nominations go our way, then we won't need to. If we get some more bit successes. You were a nominee. I mentioned that. You were nominated some time ago. Is it nerve-wracking? I mean, what goes through your head on the evening?
Well, it wasn't nerve-wracking at all for me because I wasn't here. I was shooting a movie in the south of Italy, and they wouldn't let me come back. Right. But obviously, it costs whatever it is, $90,000 a day to keep people idle. So I've no idea what it's like to be in that building.
That's a terrible thing that you missed the big night.
I missed the big night, yes. But I was really astonished to be nominated anyway. I didn't think what I did wasn't all that hard.
Well, but I'm sure everyone feels that way with it.
Yes, I'm sure they do. Yeah.
All those with a degree of modesty. You see, you've got that British modesty. That's what you're showing off there. I think it's turning a terrific show. So far we've seen 2 of the 13 awards that Lord of the Rings have been nominated for have passed now. They've won one of them. I don't know whether you were a fan of that movie. I know you said you saw it, but did you expect it to do better so far? I mean, or do you think that's an indicator that it might not do as well as many people hoped?
It's difficult, really. I'm not a huge fan. I couldn't get through the book.
There's 2 more to go on there.
2 more to go, yes. So I was in a way surprised that it's done, as well as this, because obviously if something doesn't appeal to you, you don't understand how it could possibly appeal to anyone else. Yeah. But it's a terrific work. One can't deny that. It's an amazing thing to put on the screen.
Yeah, well, I hope it does very well later on. Trinny,
it's a grown-up film too for kids as well, so it's kind of got a huge audience.
Yes.
Trinny, the clothes we've seen so far, the 2 guys who went up and collected the award for Lord of the Rings there seem to have a competition going between them as to who could wear the worst possible jacket.
They sure did, and I wonder how many days he spent deciding on that beautiful tasselled number.
So there was the one one guy with the Undertaker's outfit and the other guy looked like he jumped out of a cake. I think now, despite what I said earlier, maybe caution will be the best. Let's see, the police are coming to take him away as we
Close the
speak.
window now, perhaps.
It's the fashion police. How helpful do you think winning an Oscar or even being nominated for an Oscar? How helpful is it to someone's career? I mean, Tom,
Oh,
did
it's huge. It's absolutely huge what happens, yes, because, you know, lots of people, and some of the people tonight, are not really terribly well known. I mean, there's Jennifer Connelly. None of us knew her terribly well before this. She'd been working for years, but she wasn't a household name, and suddenly now, you know, her price has risen. She'll be getting, you know, 5, 6 offers a day.
What does it add in terms of millions, do you think? That's what
Quite-
I'm interested
quite a
in.
number.
So let's say she made X.
That's a very mercenary approach.
Well, because I think that's what it's about. You know, I think your price goes on that league table.
Well, presumably it's also, you know, the better work available and
Yes.
more of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
John
I'll tell you
Wilkinson-
what the difference that it made to my. I did a
okay.
picture for, I think it was $100,000.
Yeah.
Which was Reuben, for which I was nominated. The next picture I was given was $750,000.
Okay, that is
Which is
big.
equivalent to
This
that was
back
20
in
years ago.
1925. Tom Wilkinson, of course, we're going to see him later on. We just had a little taste of the Best Picture, one of the nominees in the bedroom. He's nominated as Best Actor. And once again, he's a name who I think a lot of people might not have heard of.
That's right,
A
but
British
wonderful
actor playing with an American accent there. I suspect, regardless of whether he wins tonight, his career will take a sudden upswerve after this.
Oh yes, absolutely. He'll be offered, you know, all the kind of movies that Tony Hopkins is being offered.
Yeah.
You know, it suddenly takes him into that league.
The big
It's
films.
lovely for him. Absolutely lovely.
Jennifer Connelly walked away with Best Actress earlier, Best Supporting Actress. Did you have? Were you pleased for her, or did you want to see it go to Helen Mirren or someone else?
No, I was absolutely delighted for her. I think it was a wonderful, measured, true performance. As Jim Broadbent said earlier, the thing about acting is it's best if you don't see it, if you don't notice it. It's a bit like music in a movie. You know, best score is the one you didn't notice there was any music in the picture.
Let's go back now, live to the Academy Awards.
They're backstage. They're sort of off to the side in the wings.
Tom is staying the course with me here, and we've been joined by a native guide, senior editor at Industry Bible Variety, Mr. Dade Hayes. Dade, thank you very much for joining us.
My
I believe
pleasure.
you've met Tom already. Any surprises so far tonight, do you think? Any big upsets?
A lot of diversity in the number of films winning, the kinds of films. Everybody's gotten on the scoreboard early. Lord of the Rings getting some technical recognition, but it's still anybody's game as far as the big ones.
Would you hazard a guess as to who you think is going to win big tonight?
I still say Beautiful Mind. Actors are the biggest branch of the Academy. They have a lot of pull. I think it's an actor's film. It's sort of triumph over adversity, that type of thing.
Already there have been a few surprises this evening on the actual the award show itself. I mean, Woody Allen wasn't, no one knew he was going to be there, I don't believe. And the film, the very moving film introduced there, and obviously I guess that shows just how important this show is seen as being a way of helping to heal the wound that was inflicted on the city of New York on September 11th.
Not to mention promoting his films, but,
Well, that's
it
a
is.
cynical way of looking at things there.
Yeah, but it is something that they've considered very important from the get-go, and I think we're going to see some more of that later tonight. They have a couple of other documentaries.
Do you think, let me ask you as a voter yourself, Tom, how are people voting this year? Do you think it's kind of based on the quality of the films themselves as always, or do you think there is a kind of a groundswell of opinion in favour of New York movies, in favour of Australian movies? I mean, it seems to be...
No, I think the members of the Academy are pretty straightforward in the way they vote. There will be some who think, you know, I met that guy and I once didn't like him, so I won't vote for him. And that is inevitable, you know, and when you have human beings, that kind of thinking is always there. But I think the members of the Academy are fairly diligent and they vote for what they think, honestly, is best.
So you will have seen most, if not all, of the movies before you cast
Yes.
your vote?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
We all, I think of the three of us, I think I speak for Australia, we were all a bit surprised that Lord of the Rings got best cinematography. Then, I mean,
Yeah.
seeing the clips up against each other, that gives you a very, easy way of comparing them all.
There's so much computer work on it,
Yes.
as we were saying. So
Yes.
that is a bit of a
It's
surprise.
difficult to know
Yeah.
exactly what the cinematographer has done. Not to decline, I mean, the man is most welcome to his
Yeah.
award. I mean, whatever he did, it's still wonderful. You know, all the work of all these people is absolutely fantastic.
And a very funny speech you delivered there as well.
Yes, very funny.
We've had some top stand-up comedy on the show this evening. Woody Allen's little
Yes,
set
Woody
piece there
Allen,
was marvellous.
Yeah, a rare treat.
Do you think ever there's a chance that people are voting and they don't necessarily know quite how to tell things apart? For example, cinematography. How often do you see a movie and say, wow, great cinematography?
There's definitely a coattail effect. I think in previous years, a lot of awards have gotten swept up into the larger categories simply because people didn't know that.
Yes.
I mean, Gladiator last year for best visual effects was a stunner because you had Perfect Storm and some really truly breathtaking
Yes, but
effects
cinematography is not just about beautiful pictures or tremendously exciting pictures. It's about giving the right atmosphere to the story. It's about creating a feeling on the screen.
All serving the end of the actual finished product.
Yes.
Okay, and I guess, like as we were saying about acting earlier, I guess the best jobs are the one where you don't necessarily notice.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, we're going to go back over live now to the Academy Awards. It's just a short stone's throw from here on Hollywood Boulevard. The 74th Academy Awards coming live. Donald Sutherland and Glenn Close keeping it real for the kids there. Congratulations to all the winners so far. But looking ahead, one of this year's most intriguing contests is for Best Supporting Actor, and most obviously so for the 5 actors with their hats in the ring. Here's what they told us about the prospect of Oscar glory, beginning with the nominee for his performance in Ali, a former Best Actor winner, Mr. John Voight.
Finally, we're all going to come down to that moment where these 5 nominees, who are so grateful, I'm telling you, I'm very grateful to be part of this group. And I know each one of the other guys is too.
Perhaps at the moment, with the world and the state it's in, cinema goers are ready for a story about good people. People trying to do good, trying to keep the world as it was.
I wish the ring had never come to me. I wish none of this had happened.
So do all who live to see such times, but that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us.
So to be associated with Gandalf for the rest of my career, well, I should be so lucky, actually.
I feel really lucky because I was so completely not expecting it. I think if people are expecting it, then you might be disappointed if you don't get it. Or I thought it was so beyond the realm of possibility that the whole thing's been really amusing to me.
But when it comes down to it, it's going to be that big show, you know, a lot of focus on us, you know, some of it quite, you know, funny. And we're going to try to get through the night with some semblance of dignity.
If I weren't in the same category, I'd be hoping the very best for Jim Broadbent.
I think for me, it's because I've got Iris and Moulin Rouge, so you can see 2 performances. You think, oh, well, one of these must be acting. You know, so I think, oh, better nominate it.
In my category, I'm rooting for everybody. Whoever gets it, I'm going to be applauding, and it's going to be sincere.
Well, pretty hard to choose between those 5, I think. Dade, let me start with you. Who do you think is going to win?
I think Ben Kingsley. I think not just because we're on BBC, but I think actually he's just been the most ferocious in his role. Came in and just defined Sexy Beast. He was out on the scoreboard early with the film as opposed to some of the others which came out a little bit later, and I think he had enough of a beachhead, he's going to be there at the end.
And did that make much of an impact here, Sexy Beast? It was a huge hit in the UK, but over here, was he big?
Absolutely. You have to remember The Sopranos and all the, you know, the Godfather DVD and all that stuff was just still in the ether when that movie hit, and so it struck a nerve. Yeah.
Tom?
Yes, I haven't a clue. I honestly haven't a clue. It's very difficult. It's the acting thing again. You know, it's who is it who does the least acting?
Yeah.
But we all have a different idea of what that is.
Very quick, let me ask you: Shrek or Monsters Inc. for first Best Animated Picture?
I think Shrek is gonna carry it.
Tom?
I think so too, but I laughed more at Monsters Inc.
Let's wait and see as we go back live to the Academy Awards. Well, Dade is nobly staying on with me, and to my delight, we've been joined by a lady who knows all about the Oscar experiences, 3 times nominee, Miss Dyan Cannon. Dyan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Twice for your acting and once for behind the camera, I believe.
Right.
Wow, fantastic. Now, that was a bit of an upset, I believe. No one really thought... I had Jim Broadbent down on my list, but no one thought he'd win it, I think. Dade, that was a surprise, wasn't it?
Absolutely a dark horse. The film is well regarded, critically well received, but it hasn't done that well commercially. It's a very small film, but I think all the actors are, you know, just so accomplished that it sort of rose above.
Frankly, now that a BBC film has won something, I think we might as well just go home. We don't need to watch the rest of the ceremony.
You're paid for it.
Dyan, what have you made of the show so far? What have you thought of the awards this evening?
I'm enjoying them. I'm having a grand time. The green room and the big screen, I'm having a fine time. I think it's wonderful. I much prefer to watch it than being there.
Then be there. I imagine it must be a terribly nerve-wracking experience.
I think it is. I think it can be. The first time for me, I was absolutely certain that I wasn't going to win. I knew it. I knew I was not going to win. But as they opened the envelope, I thought, just for a quick second, should I walk down the middle aisle or down the left aisle?
Do you sit there when you're watching it now? Do you sit there just sympathising with the nominees?
No, now being removed from it, I just have the one that I voted for, and you can tell, you know, when you're sitting and watching the people that are clapping and the smiles that are plastered, and it's nervous. It's a nervous making. And if you're there and you've been nominated, you want to win.
Yeah, of course.
You want to win.
You are, of course, a voter, as you just said. Who are you hoping for, say, Best Picture? Can you tell us who you voted for, or would you rather not?
No, I'm not going to tell you who I voted for. And if they win, I'll tell you.
Okay, so afterwards we'll hold you to that.
That's right.
Okay, but the show itself hasn't been a surprise for you so much so far as who's won so far. You've kind of...
Jim Broadbent was a surprise. Up to that point, no, I haven't been surprised. Mm-mm.
Pearl Harbor has picked something up, much to my surprise, but for sound.
You didn't like the movie?
Well, it was noisy.
Did they win for sound?
They won for sound, so I can see why they went with that.
I thought Black Hawk Down won for sound.
Right,
Well,
Pearl
there
Harbor
were
was
two
sound editing.
yeah.
Oh.
So there's two different sound categories.
But do you think Pearl Harbor, that's it for Pearl Harbor, do you think? I mean, that should be it for tonight, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be up for Worst Picture, but
Yeah.
that's tomorrow.
You know what, it was so bad, I don't think it would even win that.
Yeah. It's still playing to empty houses.
Well, we struck a nerve.
I just did a movie for him over in Australia.
Yeah. And it was fun.
For the producer. Well,
How
I
was the
love
sound?
Sydney.
Good
The
sound?
sound was good.
Yeah.
Guys, we're gonna stick around and have a little bit longer. We're gonna go back now, of course, back over to the theatre for the Academy Awards, coming to you live here from Hollywood. Arthur Hiller there, being given the Jean Herschel Humanitarian Award, and not just a memorable speech from him, but also a haircut I think will be hard to forget as well. I think he goes to the same place that Jennifer Lopez visits.
I think he did shampoo too, didn't he?
Yeah, well, that was quite something. But I don't wish to denigrate in any way that special moment. You worked with Arthur Hiller, I believe.
I love him. He's a sweet, kind, loving man. And when I was with him, he exemplified all of those qualities. Really sweet. We'd come over to when we worked together.
No, I was just going to say at the nominees luncheon before the Oscars, he got the biggest ovation of any of the previous Academy presidents. So I think a lot of people feel just like you.
And am I right in thinking that award isn't giving out every year? I mean, it's quite a big deal that he's received that this year.
It is. It is. It's
Oh,
a
it's not
testament.
given out every year? I didn't know that.
I believe not.
Is
I
that
was running
right?
with the Dade. No, I was told it's last time. I think it was 5 or 6 years
it's
ago.
Sort of,
7
yeah,
years.
it's sort of like whenever they feel the
Feel like
reason.
it?
Yeah.
Is it because in Hollywood they can't find enough people to give the humanitarian award, so they ration it?
they pull people over actually. On
But for leap years.
Santa Monica Freeway.
We have another special moment coming up. We have Sidney Poitier coming up soon. He'll be receiving an honorary award as well. Just so if people at home want to get their handkerchiefs ready, can we expect this to be an emotional moment, do you think, Dave?
Again, at that nominees luncheon, which is sort of an intimate, sort of preview of what the Oscars are, the other day, Sidney Poitier got a standing ovation even among 150 of his peers, and that just showed right there, I think, what tonight is going to be as well. So
Have
get
you
the
ever worked
hankies
with
ready.
Sidney? I'm not sure whether you have.
I haven't worked with him, but he's a friend.
Yeah.
And I love him dearly, and I quite understand, because the man is not only warm and loving and a good husband and a great father and a wonderful friend, but he's so intelligent.
It's going to be interesting. I believe Denzel Washington will be giving him the award, which seems appropriate this year that 3 African Americans are being nominated in the acting honours this year, which is, I believe, caused something of a stir as well, hasn't it? It's been noted.
It definitely has. It's been a story all the way since the nominations, and what's great is that it's actually roles that I think are really organic to the material, and they're not. I think they're just being saluted for great work. It's really that foremost, beyond anything else.
It's an interesting issue. This is how one of the 3 nominees in question responded when we asked her about this particular subject. Best Actress contender, Halle Berry.
I'm really proud to be a part of the threesome, I think it says that as people of color, we're going in the right direction and things are trying to find our equality. I would love when the day comes, and I hope I live to see it, where, it's not such a big deal made that we're black and we've been nominated. I hope that one day, people of color can be there and have it be more normal and not have it be such a rarity. That would feel good.
Yeah, the interesting thing, I don't know whether this is just from where I'm coming from in the UK, but I'm surprised that it makes any difference that people are even bothering noting and saying, oh, there are 3 African Americans.
if there wasn't such a long gap in between the nominations, it wouldn't be so conspicuous. But there have been plenty of cases where deserving performances, deserving films did get overlooked.
And so you think there is a kind of level of perhaps unknowing or institutionalized racism at work? Or?
Well, every time you have a Hoop Dreams or a Do the Right Thing or these kinds of films that don't quite sort of seem to capture the Academy's attention, it just feeds that story. So.
And why is that? Is that because the Academy membership is what, predominantly white and of a certain age, or?
If I had an answer to that question, I wish I did. I just think it's something that you definitely have to look at the membership being what they are.
But presumably this is a subject which is very touchy in this town, I imagine, is it?
I don't look at films that way or talent that way. Individually, personally speaking, I don't see it that way, and I don't know anybody that does.
Yeah.
You have the same argument with women's roles in films, you know? You can make any argument you want about women's roles, about being black or white, but talent is what matters.
Yeah, of course. It'd be interesting. I mean, I hope that if Denzel does win, that he doesn't then get accused of receiving the award purely because of the colour of his skin.
Oh, no.
Kind of an inverted.
Well, he's had such a storied career, even at the age he is now, so it's just about the work.
And he's a respected and well-liked actor, I know, as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, with all that to come, we'll wait to see as we go back once again live to the 74th Academy Awards here in Hollywood. Dan, was that just me, or was that Sidney Poitier speech a genuinely special moment?
Oh my goodness, my heart is still beating faster as a result of it.
Do you know Mr. Poitier fairly well?
Very well, yes. He and Joanna and the kids, I've known them for years. I spend time with them. He's no different on screen than he is off. The way he spoke then is the way that he conducts his life. It's the way he speaks over dinner.
And that did seem to be quite a touching moment for him as well. He seemed genuinely moved.
Oh, he was so deeply moved. But the thing that's so wonderful is how he rises on top of those emotions. And I'm sure he would have loved to have let himself go to that overwhelming sea of love that was coming upon him in a tidal wave form. But he kept his cool and just spoke that speech. You know, he's a wonderful writer. Have you ever read any of his books?
No, I haven't, but I'm going to go out and buy some tomorrow morning. And also, I want the phone numbers of his daughters for you as well. Man,
they're all taken.
You know, that was that moment made me aware just of just how special these awards can be. I mean, they are genuinely very important, I think, to Americans, to American life. You know, the movie industry has not just sort of held up a mirror to and reflected the changes in American society, but occasionally has perhaps led the way as well.
It seems to have, and not just in America, but all over the world. I was reflecting on that and thinking, what movies have I seen lately that have really touched my life in a deep way and made a difference in the way I think? I love those kind of movies.
Have you seen any that you think of?
No, I'm going to have to think about that during the next break.
Can I recommend Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius?
Is that...
I'm just being stupid.
I know you are. Gee, I missed that one.
Coming up, we've got some the musical nominations coming up. We've got Sting and Paul McCartney, both nominated this year.
So
both,
awesome.
I believe, to perform. I know Sting certainly is. He performed last year. And they're both thrilled to be here. I mean, it's kind of a big party event as well as being a sort of special...
It is, and both Brits. I mean, how awesome is that?
Well, we make the best.
Yeah, you do. A lot of the best come from Britain.
Are you a fan of either of those fellas? Do you like their music?
I love them, and I love them both individually.
How about you and I have a bet now, okay? $50 that Sting can't keep his shirt on.
Do you know something I don't know?
He can't keep it on. He's incapable of keeping himself covered up. He's a man of a certain age. He works out too much, has a lot of tantric sex.
Is he going to do push-ups like Jack Palance did that?
I'm sure if you asked him, he would. So that's a deal. $50?
I don't know, but I'll have to think about that.
Come on.
No, I don't know about
Come on.
that.
Oh,
all right, $50.
Okay, well, you can find out the result of that if you stay tuned here on BBC Two. Because coming up, I believe both those guys as well. And Randy Newman is nominated for a song once again this year. I think it's not just his 50th, it's his 16th nomination.
Isn't that lovely?
For a song.
Oh,
that's
nice.
incredible.
I like that.
So all that's coming up now. Stick with us. It's the 74th Annual Academy Awards coming to you live here from Hollywood. And I'm with Dyan Cannon, and I couldn't be happier. Dyan's bravely, perhaps foolishly, agreed to stay with us. She's a game girl, but we've also been joined by a local steeped in show business law. It's Mr. Greg Proops. Greg, thank you so much for joining us, Stephen.
My pleasure. Good morning, everybody.
Before we chat, I owe Dyan $50. There you go. Sting kept his shirt on.
He kept his word.
What do you think of that, though? Randy Newman winning, I think that was his 15th. I just checked that. I think it was his 15th. Yeah, 15th Oscar there. Incredible. Seemed to be a very popular win.
Oh, yeah. You know, after you've been it that many times to the dance and haven't been asked to dance, you know. Plus, like Dyan was saying while we were watching it, his speech was so heartfelt, and he's a witty guy.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was nice.
So funny.
And a great performance from John Goodman with him there.
Oh, yeah. Goodman's fabulous. They should make a musical with him.
What did you?
Well, they did.
What did you think of the? What do you think of the awards so far? You've been watching it all the way through, and how do you think Whoopi's done in the difficult role of hosting?
I think she's fantastic. I think she's kept it clipping right along. I like her better than Billy Crystal. Am I allowed to say that? I work in this town, so I like Billy a lot.
Not much longer.
Yeah. No, I mean I think she's really rolling it though.
Yeah. She's doing a good job. A few years ago, David Letterman did it, and that seemed to be universally regarded as not a good job. I saw it. I thought it was very funny, but it didn't go down well here, did it?
I think they want someone who's a movie star worldwide. I think part of the problem is I don't think people around the world know who David Letterman is.
Really?
I'm guessing.
Really?
Well, apart from British talk show hosts, all of us who have slavishly imitated him, but apart from that, and
apart from you and Danny Baker,
no
one knows who he is.
How great to have Danny Baker to get a name check on an Oscar special.
I just thought I'd throw one
Thank
in
you very much
for the
indeed.
homies.
How mad does LA get Oscar time? I mean, you've been a resident here a long while. I know you lived here for quite a while. Is it as crazy this time of the year as one might imagine?
It really isn't. I don't think it's crazy. I mean, the girls are running around trying to get their dresses and their gowns, but I don't think it's crazy. This is a crazy city. There's always something going on here.
Well, people are dieting even more furiously than they were dieting a few weeks ago.
I heard there was a lot of liposuction going on in the last few weeks.
Yeah, the lipo, there's been so much fat rendered that the fat's going to get its own deal, is my understanding. And you're only able to eat an eighth of a Krispy Kreme donut now instead of a half of one before you go to the Oscars.
Well, we just saw Jennifer Lopez up there looking quite remarkable, but the hair was quite something. What was going on with the hair there? It looked like a tribute to the Cowardly Lion from Wizard of Oz.
She was definitely leonine in her look tonight. I think she was going for the astronaut wife big hair that was so popular in the early 60s. And I'm not sure about the color of the gown. Again, I work in this town, and Jennifer, you're fantastic. But no, I wasn't digging the hair that much.
But your hair looks terrific this evening, and I was just wondering earlier whether it's real or extensions.
No, I don't have any extensions.
It's the real deal.
I've always been blessed with a lot of hair.
Well done. And your hair is obviously not real.
Mine is not real at all, no. This is all of Clive Anderson's old hair. I've gathered it up, and I've made a giant buffet on the top of my head.
Can I touch it?
Yeah, you may. It won't move.
You look at the back. There's the brand name Teflon on the back of your head there.
If moisture touches it, it never ever moves again. I form a chocolatey shell.
I'd like to see you in a convertible with a top down.
Dyan, I'd like to be in a convertible with you in a top down.
This has become like some sad dating show late at night now.
Don't. I host one. Don't.
What do you think of the venue? If we can bring back the Oscars, the venue, because this is the first year it's come from the Kodak Theatre over on Hollywood Boulevard itself. There have been some problems, some teething problems. It looks pretty good to me. What do you think of the way it looks?
The stage is awesome. I think it's wonderful. I think maybe some of the audience shots make it look a little convention-y, but the stage I think is magnificent.
That Hollywood Highland Mall, if you haven't been over to it, is the definition of chutzpah, because they put, I don't know if this means anything to people in England, giant white elephants on the top.
Yeah.
And I think that shows a lot of moxie, because it's made it so far, but when you put the white elephant out there.
Yeah, but it is like a shopping mall the rest of the year. Isn't it? You go in and you can buy ties and pottery, and then this one night they put a red carpet outside it.
Well, that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, this is Hollywood. You've eaten here. Everything's in a mini mall.
Yeah.
You have no idea what's good.
Do you think, have you seen the scene, there's Donald Sutherland and Glenn Close sitting nearby. Behind them they have Oscar statuettes. Do you think they're the real thing, or are they selling them to tourists?
Oh no, those are fake, and those are given out to children after the show. They're actually made of delicious nougat, and it's a small gold flaking that they do on the tops. Donald Sutherland does the voiceover for those delicious candies.
They'll give them to children and Tom Cruise, we hope.
Yeah, well, he can't eat the candy now. He's got the braces.
We're going back now live once again over to the venue. We've been discussing for the remaining parts of the 74th Annual Academy Awards live from Hollywood. At this point, with the really big awards looming large on the horizon, I can reveal the results of the BBC People's Predictions poll, and thanks to the thousands of you who voted via your TV or the net. And as far as you're concerned, the Oscars should go to Best Supporting Actress. You voted for Jennifer Connelly, A Beautiful Mind. Well, that's what's happened. Best Supporting Actor, Ian McKellen, Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. That went to Jim Broadbent. Best Actress, Nicole Kidman, Moulin Rouge. We'll find out any minute now. Best Actor, Russell Crowe, A Beautiful Mind. That's what you thought would probably happen as well, isn't it?
Yes.
Best Director, Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. Well, we'll see soon. And Best Picture, you guys have voted for Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. So we'll find out shortly. Back in the real world, the Best Actress Award is coming up soon. And despite the surge of support for Halle Berry, Sissy Spacek is still the bookmakers' favourite to win this one. And here's how she reacted when we told her that last year's Best Actress, Julia Roberts, had anointed her as her successor with the words, "Sissy should take the Oscar back to Virginia with her fine acting self."
She is.
And when this is over.
That's very lovely. She's a wonderful young actress. I worked with her brother many, many years ago on a film called Raggedy Man, and Julia was just a young, I think at the time I probably was a preteen, his little baby sister. So she's done fine by herself, and I'm very, very flattered to hear her say that.
Well, what's to stop him from doing it again?
Did you hit him at all? Come on, tell me you hit him.
Matt.
Just so he doesn't do it again.
I don't think I touched him. Ah, Jesus, Dad.
So what are you gonna do?
Take karate?
Oh, that is not the problem.
It's two extraordinary people who somehow managed to find each other. And she is the stronger and he the weaker when they got married, when they met and got married, and then they level out in a way, and then as she gets the disease, so his strength is what looks after her.
Iris!
I'm sure the country won't go to the dogs. Not knowing the Prime Minister's name's not a capital offence.
Absolutely.
I know the names that matter.
It'll be all right.
Well, it will be if you stop worrying. I've got a book to finish. Tony Blair. So there. It always means something to get it. It's unnerving when people talk about it.
I've been doing this for a long time, and I think time makes it sweeter.
Sissy Spacek fan, Greg?
Oh, yeah. And Coal Miner's Daughter was an intense turn. She was nominated for Carrie when I was in high school, believe it or not.
You know, like about you, I hadn't even warned you I was going to come to you with that, and look how he bounced back. That's incredible, isn't it?
That's right, buddy. It's all about the improv.
It's all there. Coming back, we've got in a minute the best, the honorary Oscar going to Robert Redford, which I suspect will be a special moment, and we will find out who wins the Best Actress. So that's coming up as we go back live now to the 74th Annual Academy Awards here from Hollywood. Well, there you go. First of all, if you've just joined us on BBC One, welcome. This is the 74th Annual Academy Awards coming to you live from Hollywood, and that's right, yes, it's still going on. We just saw Halle Berry. That was, I think, unexpected. Most people had their money on Sissy Spacek, or Spacek, as I believe she'll now be known, after Russell Crowe mangled that name. Although you'd have to be a pretty brave man to put him right on his pronunciation, I guess. What did you think of that? Was that a surprise to you as well?
Oh, yeah. At the very last minute, I thought she might slip in. It's extraordinary. I mean, you know, this is the big one tonight, because they've never given it to a black actress. Yeah. It's never, ever happened.
Although she was making that point, I guess. Monsters Ball is a film which hasn't been released in the UK yet. I haven't seen it. Have you seen it? Has it been big over here?
It's more of an art film, to be honest. It's not a big worldwide smash yet. It's a small independent film, and you know, I think they're just giving it to her for all the right reasons.
It's not like a sequel to Monsters Inc.
Yeah, actually it is, and thank you for taking it that way. It's not a heartfelt melodrama. It's actually a hilarious look at when your husband gets killed.
Well, she mentioned Dorothy Dandridge's name there. This is a woman who I believe Halle Berry played in a TV drama of that woman's life. She was the first African American to be nominated for an award. Do you think it really is that kind of what this is about this evening? Do you think, you know,
no
partly...
question. We're redressing grievances here. Dorothy Dandridge was nominated in the 50s for Best Actress, and one black actress had won before her for supporting actress. And she made it kind of her crusade to portray Dorothy Dandridge in this picture, and who was also a very beautiful, elegant black actress. And, you know, that's what this is about. In my opinion, I think this shifts it toward Russell Crowe, to be honest, for actor, even though they're not voting right this second.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, Halle Berry, of course, she was a fine performer. She lives in this film, no doubt. But a lot of people, I think, didn't really consider her to be much of a serious actress. I remember thinking how great she looked in the Flintstone movie,
but
not thinking at the time this is a future Oscar winner. So I guess people will be surprised the way her career has turned around to that extent.
Absolutely. No one's taken her seriously seriously, if you wish to pronounce it correctly. I don't. It's 5 in the morning. Until this year. Because honestly, X-Men last year, you know, she wasn't considered serious, and now I think she'll get loads and loads of big roles.
We're heading towards now, you know, the end of the show is in sight. I'm sort of relieved to say, although we've been having a great time here. Best Actress coming up now. Now, this is a very hard category to call. The money does seem to be split between Russell Crowe for Beautiful Mind, and as we were saying just a second ago, Denzel Washington for Training Day.
Yeah.
Also, there's Sean Penn in the running, there's Tom Wilkinson, and there was Will Smith for Ali, a film which didn't do as well as people expected. Who do you think? You were just saying you think possibly Russell rather than Denzel?
I think it's going to be Russell Crowe, but I would like to see Denzel Washington get it. In my humble opinion, as a film viewer, I think Denzel has done more Oscar-worthy roles than this one, but I think this might be the one to turn the tide for him.
Yeah.
Sean Penn, no, not
I mean, a lot of people think Russell Crowe might have lost out because it seems to be the conventional wisdom is that there are three kind of guides to whether you get the Oscar. One is whether the performance is good. Secondly is whether or not they think it's your time, whether it's due. And thirdly, quite importantly, whether or not you're liked, whether you're popular. And it does seem that Russell Crowe isn't the best liked or loved guy in the industry.
No, I think it was the little thing at the BAFTAs, and he spent a couple weeks here doing Damage Control over that. However, he did play someone with a mental disability, which is a huge winner with the people who vote.
Yeah.
Any kind of affliction or condition, and that's acting.
But of course, Sean Penn's also playing a disadvantaged man in his movie, so maybe that equals and cancels itself out.
But this is the year of the genius, not the autistic.
So is that
Jimmy Neutron
is that the Chinese zodiac you're talking about now?
This is how I work it, and I throw cornflakes on a table. And
We're going to go back live now then. This is, we're near the end. Well, we're still here. I have Trinny back with me. Thanks for joining us again, Trinny. Greg Proops is still here. Best actor goes to Denzel Washington. You thought it might earlier, then you changed your mind with Halle Berry, and now you're back there saying it was you were right all along, Greg. It's typical.
Yeah, that's how I do it. Because I don't like to lay those sting bets, because those cost money later, for those of you who are watching. I think it's fantastic, and long overdue. A very good year. Denzel is a terrific actor.
You got the feeling, I got the feeling certainly, that when his name was called out and when he went up to collect it, a very popular choice. I mean, really, it seemed to be a real sort of swell of enthusiasm for that. And afterwards, you just saw Julia Roberts running over to hug him, Mel Gibson waiting backstage. He seems to be very popular with his peers.
Oh yeah, no, I think he's like, everybody loves Denzel Washington, and everybody knows that he got cheated. I mean, the man played Malcolm X, he played Stephen Biko. Who do you have to do around this town to get an Oscar, you know?
And of course, that moment back in England will be seen as Malcolm Gary's revenge for the BAFTA incident. So Russell has to work on his manners for next year if he wants to pick one up. We're coming up to the two biggies, really. I mean, actor and actress, of course, big ones, but we've got the best director and the best picture in the next chunk, the final chunk of the show. What are your predictions for those? What do you think for, first of all, for best
I'd like
picture?
Trini to go first so that I have a better chance.
You want to do a sting again? I don't know. I think I haven't seen A Beautiful Mind, but you know, I think it's on a winning streak.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's done fairly well. It hasn't done as well as people thought.
But that's why I feel it could then get Best
Do you think
Picture.
it might get Best Picture?
I think it's between that and Lord of the Rings. Although I'm of the opinion that if you have pointed ears in a movie, you really shouldn't have the Best Picture, but that's just me.
I'm sticking my neck out with Gosford Park just because I want to see Altman get something at long last, although I suspect I'll be terribly wrong, as always. And for Best Director, what do you think?
Is Altman up for Best Director?
Yeah.
I'd like him to win it.
He may sneak in with Best Director, but I think Ron Howard, because he makes a lot of hit movies and he's really popular and a nice person.
And possibly also, I think maybe they'd like to just give someone something who's suffered so terribly from male pattern baldness.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a reward.
It's been a very entertaining show. I think it's been a funny show thanks to host Whoopi Goldberg. There've been some very emotional moments, I thought, especially the Sidney Poitier award with him. There haven't been any terrible gaffes, there haven't been any glitches, there haven't been any mistakes, no one's actually tripped over yet. I'm a tiny bit disappointed. Do you share that?
Yes, I enjoy when there's streakers or someone's real drunk or freaks out or lighting rig falls. Yeah. But to me, that's the best kind of award show. That's why I like the Golden Globes, because they let them drink through the whole thing, and you never know what's going to happen.
I loved Halle Berry. I mean, I thought Haley. I always say it wrong. It's
Haley. That's a comic you're thinking
of.
Yeah.
She's from the Russell Crowe School of Pronunciation.
But I got very emotional. I didn't usually get that emotional, and I saw all the actresses who were nominated as well. They got very emotional, and I saw Renée Zellweger.
You know, let's face it. It's the Academy Awards. Where else will you see a beautiful woman in a skimpy dress crying so much that there's snot coming out of her nose
and dribbling on her upper lip?
That's why this is a world-class show, second to none.
Yeah, only in my dreams and on the Academy Awards.
Well, and on the internet, I believe.
Oh, yeah,
well, we're going to head back now. This is going to be the final section of the show. For those of you who stayed with us the whole way through, well done. We're going back now live once again to the Kodak Theatre for the final section of the 74th Annual Academy Awards. As I said, live from Hollywood. 2 Oscars, he doesn't even thank the Fonz. What's wrong with the world?
What about the Waltons, you know?
Man
Go
alive.
back
Well,
far enough.
you know, I'm frankly flabbergasted at those last 2, but there you go. That's the fun of the Oscars. You never know what's going to happen. You never know who's going to win. What did you think? Why do you think they gave it to that movie? Apart from the fact they obviously liked it, I guess.
Well, they're a very popular producer-director team in town, wildly popular. They make loads of hits, and it's exactly the kind of picture that everyone feels good about voting for, because the guy had a disability, he overcame it, we cried, we laughed, we kissed 750 goodbye.
There you go. Trinny, surprised by the events? I know you wanted to see other films. You thought Beautiful Mind might get it,
Beautiful
but
Mind, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Having not seen it, I couldn't comment, but I would say it is the people's choice, probably. Sometimes it goes to that.
Certainly the people who vote choice. It was, I mean, it struck me as being a very entertaining show this evening. I hope the people at home agreed, those who stayed with us for the long, long slog, but there weren't any moments of hideous embarrassment. I miss that kind of thing.
Yeah, the appalling dress sense, the kind of, as you were saying, the strippers, the streakers, the kind of gaffes, the people going on too long.
Plus, you remember Cher wore that weird headdress that one year, and Barbara Streisand wore see-through pants.
Yeah.
I mean, that needs to come back.
It does.
There weren't any kind of disastrous outfits, were there, at all?
No, nothing.
No, the stylists need to get
disastrous
high
hair.
more, I think,
There was
before
some
this show,
disastrous
so
hair.
that they make those mistakes again, and the actors can go with it.
Thank God we had you here with your improbable gravity-defying hair.
Yeah.
Yes,
A
and it'll
little
be this
extra
way for
shock.
the next 2 weeks, ladies and gentlemen.
That was like a sort of strange tribute to David Lynch, who of course was sadly overlooked for Best Director, and you knew he was never going to get it, but it would have been nice if he got more than just a nod. But anyway, it was lovely having you with us. We had Alan Cummings earlier, thanks to him as well, Alan Cummings. Tom Conti, of course. We had Dade from Variety. But Greg, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you, Jonathan.
and
My
Trinny,
pleasure.
Thank you for coming over. So you're both off to parties now, I guess?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
All night long. Trini's going to the Vanity Fair party, and I'm going to the Fat Burger on Santa Monica Avenue for the fat fries and a chili burger.
That's it then. That was the 74th Annual Academy Awards. I had a tremendous time hosting it. I hope you enjoyed watching back there in England. There'll be the highlights on tonight on BBC One. Good night to us from Hollywood, and do have a nice day, won't you?